now Assistant Provost for Faculty Affairs. Well, my remarks really date back to my time in Arts and Science. I was for a decade Assistant Dean for Faculty Affairs in Arts and Science. Tom mentioned I was on the search committee, and my stories start with the search committee. But I'm going to first tell a quick aside about Liga that Tom made me remember. Liga came to me after a former dean made his now famous threat and said, "What do I do about this guy?" And my first remark was, "Liga, remember I have cousins, Vinny and Guido, and they can rough him up a bit if you like." Liga paused for some time, finally said no. So, you know, we've had a fair number of candidates for the position, and Liga was by far and away the best. There was only a small problem. She was reluctant to come. And I'm going to pretend I remember that David Durant was still chair at the time. Yeah. And either David or Tom came to see me and said, "You're the resident wooer." My job was to get on the phone with a faculty person who was reluctant to come. "Would you be willing to call Liga and talk to her?" And I said, "Sure." So began a fateful courtship, because I called Liga and we spoke. I don't think it was more than a couple of days, and decided after that first phone call, we just kind of think about things. I understood full well, in fact I recognized that Liga had something that I consider part of my constitution, a sense of place, a really rich sense of place. She'd been at Marymount for some time. It was a place of familial and professional attachments, and to her credit, she just couldn't let go. And my job was to help her let go. It took some time, because she is, like myself, a creature of place, but she called one day and said, "I'm coming." And I can say I'm proud of few other moments more than that one, because Liga and I quickly became good friends. And I have the fondest memories of going to a Bosnian restaurant in the spot that now is a parking lot. Joni Mitchell has it right. And the parking lot that is now the Med Center lot was a Grove Shops with two really lovely restaurants. This place at Planet Top. And I'm an anthropologist by training, in part because of the intellectual persuasiveness of the discipline, but as much because I'm a social chameleon, and being an anthropologist forces you to be that social chameleon. And I thought in Liga, just that, a gregariousness that made me look autistic. but just a love of that moment where you suddenly turn. You know, for me, it was being among people quite different than myself. My wife and I spent 2 years in rural Zimbabwe, and in those moments where you realize that you've picked up enough that you begin to think native, if you will. And here was Liga chatting away with me in the restaurant. The woman came over, the proprietress, to take our order the first time, at least I went, and Liga broke into Latvian with her, and I just watched her morph into this whole other person who just took on the full culture of someone else, and I said, God, I knew why I loved this person. It was such a joy to see that rich sense of sharing that is Liga. And so it's, I suppose, poetic, but it doesn't help to say poetic because it still hurts. To now have come full circle, and now I'm not the fellow trying to convince a reluctant colleague to come, but I'm a fellow trying to convince reluctantly a colleague to stay a little longer. And so it's with such great joy and a sense of real pride for calling Lita a friend, and finally getting to meet her publicly this week. That I ask us just to raise the glass and toast a really remarkable to Liga.
Well, my goodness, after following